Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cracka's Creations Network. My name is Jared, aka Corn-Fed Cracka93, and welcome back to Cracka's Creations Network as usual. And tonight we're doing something a little different. I just got home from watching The Walking Dead, went over to my mom's, had a, Walking Dead premiere party with snacks, and watched the last episode, some of it, and then the new episode. So I wanted to get on here tonight and do kind of a review, an overview of all of that. Spoiler free until I say so in this episode, and I'll give you time. So if somebody hasn't watched the episode, then they can go ahead and stop the video or exit out of the video and then watch it later if they want to. So I'm not ruining it for anybody. But right now, spoiler free. I wrote down some bulletins that I have on my other screen over here just so I can make sure I get everything out of this that I want to. I'm doing this. This is the first time I've ever done a Walking Dead review, by the way. For those of you that haven't been on the channel already. I don't do these normally. For one thing, I never really felt the need to before, I guess. I wasn't as into YouTube before, but I am now. But this episode was different. This episode really made me want to do this review. So I guess I'll start off here on one of my bulletins that I have. The episode filming altogether. I thought the actual scene of the whole episode was really dark, like it should have been. The filming was great. The foreshadowing, the looking from the eyes of the character. I'm pretty sure that when they actually did this in the season finale of last season, it was looking from Rick's eyes when he pointed the bat at them, but it also was looking from one of the other ones that were, possibly killed, but I don't want to spoil it right now, so I thought just the episode filming altogether was great. It was done right. The fog in some of the scenes, this isn't ruining it for anybody, but the fog was another huge thing, not being able to see walkers. But yeah, the filming altogether, they did great work with angles. And I'm a video production student, so to see some of these things and actually be able to pick them out, it really makes you enjoy the episode more. Character acting is my other bulletin that I have on here. Negan is an awesome character, and I say that not on the fact that you actually like Negan, but in the fact that how he plays his character does the job that the character is supposed to do. And that to me is pretty cool. Obviously, I don't know the actor's name right off the top of my head, but it is the guy that plays the father of the Winchesters in Supernatural for a short time in Season 1 and possibly Season 2. I'm not sure how long he actually stayed in there, but it is the same actor. He does a great job acting, and he really makes you hate him, which is what his job is. So I thought that was great. The acting of some of the other characters, and I'll get a little bit more in depth as we come into the spoiler section. But, yeah, the acting of some of these other guys is just as good. Rick is just as good. All of these characters, all these main characters that we see lined up here that we saw in the finale of last season, we really see how these characters are reacting to this new stuff. So, the episode overall, I guess. And this is another one of my bulletins. I'm reading it off so I don't miss anything. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm running out of words right now because of how this episode was. It really broke somebody as a viewer. And I can't get too in depth without being spoilers, but it really broke a person as a viewer. It really did. I feel like the pain that these guys are feeling in the series, in this episode, you're actually feeling it as a viewer too, and that's crazy. But that just shows how good this episode was. I don't mean as good as in what happened good, but as good as in how powerful this episode was and how it was supposed to be. So I'm going to go into spoiler-free zone because I can really express more than what I am right now. So if you haven't seen the episode, feel free to click away now, watch this later. If you don't really care about knowing what happens, stay put right here. You can watch the rest of this. But we're going into spoilers right now. So there are spoilers now. The death of Abraham. I don't know. I wasn't surprised. Abraham was one of my first guesses. Because Abraham wasn't a huge character. He did have a lot of character development last season, but Abraham wasn't a huge character to the fact that, you tuned in just to see Abraham. I think Abraham's death definitely affected the group, as in they're seeing somewhat of a leader, get taken down, and Abraham himself, Abraham's a funny character, and I guess I read this character my own way, and this whole video is just my opinions plus, the facts of what happened in the episode thrown in. But I have to say that Abraham in this episode, I feel like one thing, he was honorable. He took the death, not willingly, but he didn't sit there and cry about it. He took it. He definitely took the death without, I guess too much difficult. I don't know how to express that, but almost watching Abraham die and seeing it in his face, it was like the character of Abraham, and I'm not sure if this is what the episode was trying to put across or not. I haven't watched Talking Dead there, so if some of them are saying the same thing I am, then I'm just a good guess, I guess, because I haven't watched it. Just the beginning where all the cast came out, and that was it. But Abraham's mind, what I read out of that was that almost that he was seeing the sweet release of dying and not being in this world anymore and having to fight as hard as he did, but also knowing that if it was his death, then it wasn't somebody else's in the group. Almost like the honorable way to go out, I guess is what I would say. That's kind of what I read on that one for death. Obviously, you didn't want to see anybody die. I would rather have it been Abraham than, I guess, somebody else. I don't know, I'd almost would have rather had it be Eugene or, somebody else like that. Probably get a lot of hate for that, because Eugene is a light character, but, yeah, I just see more use in Abraham, and maybe that's why it had to be Abraham, because it took a bigger hit to the group. But the next death hit the biggest, and that was Glenn. Glenn being a season 1 very first episode cast member, and I can't say that I didn't see it coming. I thought last season he would die, and we thought he did with a dumpster scene where he happens to get underneath the dumpster, and I kind of thought at that point that something might have happened where Glenn was still alive, because it was the first kind of death that they shown without actually showing the death. But Glenn's hit hard. And, it's funny because the group obviously was distraught with the hit, and Glenn fought through it all. After the second hit, he was still talking, and the only thing that was going through his mind was just expressing anything to Maggie at that point. The words, I don't know if they were meant to come out the way that they did for the character. I don't know if they were supposed to be kind of jumbled up, but he said to Maggie that he would find her, almost like he didn't know if she was going to die either or not, but Glenn's last words was to Maggie, period. And obviously Glenn taking one too many blows to the head, and it did him in. And we lost Glenn, one of the biggest characters. And this is what I mean of when I was talking about how the episode made you feel for the viewers. And Glenn's been in there since episode 1. And I have never felt so defeated as a viewer because of this episode. And not in a bad way. The episode was done right, and the episode was done the way that it should have been, and it was such a powerful episode, and it was awesome. But, obviously with having such a great episode, it sucks that we lost Glenn. But obviously to keep a show interesting, you have to do things like that to keep it going. Why did it have to be Glenn instead of somebody else? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But as defeated as the cast is right now in the episode, is as defeated as the viewers are right now. And I'll get on to Negan takes Rick after the death of Glenn, but they showed Glenn's death as this was going on, excuse me. But Rick was taken kind of on like a, I don't know, almost like Negan was trying to break Rick like a horse. He was trying to break Rick and make Rick see that, this is how it was going to be, and he had to follow him, or bad stuff was going to happen. And Rick had to go outside of the RV. This was in the fog that I was talking about in the non-spoiler section, and Rick had to fight off walkers to get the hatchet back that Negan put him through a test to get. And he goes through all these charades, jumps onto a dead zombie after he starts shooting holes to the top of the camper, and then shoots all the zombies around Rick so he can get him back into the camper. Definitely a test for Rick, and Negan was trying to break him almost to make him say, "Look, you're gonna follow what I want." And he got back to the camp where all these guys were that Negan had just, killed Abraham and Glenn. And brings Rick back, and he sees that Rick isn't going to change his mind. Rick still has the mindset of killing Negan. He's going to kill him at some point. And then Negan forces Rick for an ultimatum. Basically, that if he doesn't cut off Carl's arm where he makes a mark on Carl's arm, let me see if I can, on his upper forearm here, that all the rest of the crew was going to get a bullet in the back of the head. And the actor actually said, make sure it's nose level so it makes a big mess and blows out the front of their face. And it's just those kind of attention to details that makes the episode so impactful, I guess. But yeah, that drives Rick to a point where he's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do this. And even Carl's telling him, do it. And finally, Negan gives in because he sees that Rick is in a different place than he was when he first started this cutting off of Carl's arm. So Carl saves his arm, and Negan sees that Rick is finally broken and that maybe he's going to listen. So, to end the episode, they gave him a truck. The group kind of, I guess, regroups almost, but not really. They take Daryl off in the truck, Negan does. Daryl's gone somewhere else. We don't know. Or I imagine he's going to be put through trials, be beat on, or whatever. I'm not sure. But basically this leaves Maggie to have to clean up Glenn's body with the help of the group. After the group says, look, she's not staying there by herself. And also Abraham. And yeah, I mean, that's the episode kind of ends right there. And it's, like I said, I've never felt so defeated from an episode, or actually felt the episode so much before. So I guess that's what makes this review more special than others. And the next few episodes are what I'm going to call the grinding episodes. They're going to kind of fill in the story. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and they're definitely going to be interesting episodes. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. Definitely, if you haven't watched this and you're watching these, spoilers, non-spoilers, it doesn't matter. Go back and watch this episode, and you'll see what I mean on a lot of these points. If you're a really diehard Walking Dead fan, even if you're not, you're going to see what this episode does, what this episode brings to the table. Maybe not the entire connections to all the characters because you haven't watched it along the way, or if you have, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like down in the bottom. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and keep watching. I'm going to do these, for most of the episodes, I think. I think they're kind of fun to do, kind of fun to talk about the episodes. Give me a chance to vent, too. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.